Okay, here's a super quick tutorial on the Printadontics software to give you a better idea of how to make things work. So first off here, I'm going to click the new patient button and I can type in the name of the patient. And then I can upload the upper and lower scan files. So this is optional, right? If you want to do just work on the upper or just on the lower, you could upload just one. I'm going to upload both here so I can show you. When you're here in the File Explorer, you're probably going to need to use this arrow of Go to Parent Folder. This will help you go up in your folder paths if you're trying to find something. And then I'll go to my downloads here because that's where I have my teeth scans. So right here I can see my upper scan and my lower scan. So I'll upload those real quick. Then I can click Create Patient. Now my patient's created. I'll load patient. Okay, now that I have my patient loaded here, you can see I can select the upper and lower scans. I can also use the sidebar on the right to do the same thing. So I can select the lower, I could select the upper. I could rename them if I want to for easier clarity. And then I can also hide them with these check boxes here, okay? So if I want to start working with the upper, I can select the upper, come up here and do a clean mesh scan. So here, it's just going to give me some simple parameters. So maybe I want to get rid of more of the gum line than I usually do, and I'll just run that, and then you'll see that it's going to make the clean mesh here. And the clean mesh will be like kind of hidden by the top scan, and so eventually we'll want to hide that. Okay, so you see how I'm going to hide the top T scan, that way I can see my cleaned mesh here, okay? So now that I'm here, I can use this to do a couple things, right? So I could, if I like how it looks, I could go right away and generate a tray off of this. But in this scenario, that's a lot of gum area that I want to get rid of, and so I'm going to use the paint tool here. So I can come up here, change the paint tool size to the size and shape that I want, and just kind of start removing the parts of the scan that I don't want to use in this retainer or Snore guard or whatever I'm going to make from the software. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, now that I have removed that painted section, I can now go back to my selection tool, select this portion here, and then I can smooth that jaw boundary. Okay, once the smoothing algorithm has run, it will have both of the original and the smoothed here, so you can unselect the original and keep just the smoothed. Then here on the smooth, I can do a couple things, right? So I can start putting down buttons. So if I want to make a snore guard here, I could throw a button here, and let's say maybe I want to, so I can select them, the buttons, and then I can rotate them. So let's say I want to rotate them. Maybe I'm thinking I want to do something a little bit different like that. Yeah, that way they're both facing the same direction. Boom. Now I've got those buttons like that. Now that my buttons are placed, I'm going to select the upper section and I'm going to generate a tray. Okay. So here you have a couple parameters. So the offset from the teeth, maybe I'll do 0.04. So it's like not too tight, but it's still tight on their teeth. And then I'll make the thickness 0.7. 0.7 is pretty standard for a retainer. If you're trying to do something a little bit thicker, you could bump that up to 0.8. But we'll run that. Okay, now that the tray has been generated, I can double check that my buttons look good. So my buttons are looking pretty good on here. I don't see any issues with them. It looks like they're gonna be just fine. I can even hide that smooth thing from earlier and just leave us with the tray. So this is exactly what I'm gonna send to the 3D printer, right? So if I don't like this per se, I could delete the tray over here on the right side and then change up the smooth version again and remake a tray off of it. Now from there, I can export. So this could get a little bit confusing because it's going to allow me to see everything that I have put into here up until this point. But I'm going to remove the original scans. I don't want that in my export. I'm going to remove the cleaned and smoothed, and I'm going to leave the tray and the buttons. Those are the things I do want to print, right? If I'm trying to make a snore guard, all I want is that finished tray plus the buttons. So I'm going to combine those into a single mesh. Now I'm going to export that, and then I can choose on my computer where I want to do that. So let's say I wanted to put it in here, and I could say this is Daniel Chap file. Boom, save. And now I have exported my Snore guard, and I can send it and upload it into my 3D printer software. Okay, one thing I want to add here is if you have a teeth scan that has decent gaps between the teeth, you may need to change the parameters during your clean mesh scan. So for example, this is the lower teeth, so I'm definitely going to select that. But another thing here is I have decent gaps between my lower teeth, and so I'm actually going to use a 0.7 voxel size. Basically what this will do is it will fill in the gaps in between the teeth. That way when my retainer gets generated, there is no like walls between the teeth. Now that I have the clean mesh of this lower scan here, I'll kind of try to show you. So basically in between the teeth, there is no wall here, right? It's been generated correctly because I used that higher voxel size. So my teeth will be able to fit in there. In other words, if the teeth scan has gaps in it, you may need to use a higher voxel size to help fill in the gaps.